Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Lizzy Coe, and today I'm going to be reading from a manuscript that I'm working on titled Cherry Almond. The outline of this manuscript is that it is 15 poems that chronicle about a month over my life, and themes include dysfunctional family, searching for healing and making mistakes along the way, gender dysphoria, as well as ultimately victory over adversity. Cherry Almond. My father had working hands. At the dinner table, I sat to his right, thought about my future, and made plans. Some nights, back in the days of dial up, I noticed his palms, dry, red, cracking. I dashed to the bathroom, urged him to take care of his skin, and rubbed Jurgen's cherry almond into his winter knuckles. One coat, and all is forgiven. My father worked all his life. Recently, he was in hospice, unable to speak but still recognizing me. I thought about how he had made plans. I noticed his bald scalp peeling, so I grabbed some lotion from the bedside table and I smoothed it over his dry spots, just like I had done when I was young and he was not. The sharp edge. My spear is heavy, but its balance is unmatched. Each night I sit by the fire and I work the sharp edge with the stone I plucked from the river. My father told me to be patient looking for my stone, to rest my eyes on the water and wait until the right rock tumbled into my hand. I work the sharp edge. I sit with the memories as they rise to the surface. My father is cold in the ground now, but my arms have never been stronger, and though I was born a woman, I look more like him with each day. I find myself reaching for the same outfit he favored: shoes to cradle a working class spine, flannel shirt, jeans that can rip without heartbreak. I work the sharp edge. I consider what kind of person my father made. My hands look like his, so do my feet. When I weep at how his life ended, I remember that his toes still walk the earth each day. I recall that his fingers live at the ends of my arms. I hope that my heart is as kind as his, but please much healthier. I pray for more years than he lived. I work the sharp edge. My river rock hones keen. Atoms return to alignment, as does routine. When she said, don't cry, or I'll give you something to cry about, what she meant was, I am in so much pain that I can barely stand it, and if I have to hold it all, still get through the day, keep quiet, and stay out of everyone's way, surely your small hurt is something you can ride out. This is how someone behaves when their home explodes while they're only 7 years old. Mother bedridden, father numb from war, 2 younger siblings she tried to care for. Back then, I was an egg in her belly, a little sponge absorbing history. I think I survived her upbringing for a reason, but I can't be sure. Raising my voice contains no small allure. I shout boundaries over and over to make them real. I flatten such trees with my scream. I cough up logs and use them to build walls. I turn my lungs inside out, a sacrifice I make to ensure I will be my own dream, servitude deferred. I'll give you something to cry about, she said, and in fact she did. We just love a woman who's true to her word. So, what did those logs build, the ones that fled my lungs? What mansion did terror erect under stormy skies? What offense did I commit when I cried? What adult could witness a child's tears, feel their hands shake with rage, and still be allowed to keep that babe? Here's something that's true. One time when I was small in my long dress of navy blue, I cowered and shouted, I'll call CPS on you. She cackled back, I dare you to. When a family tree goes up in smoke, the flames that cannot be contained to one limb. They flit through the leaves, travel through the genes. The upheaval finds a new home in fresh bodies. A high-proof heavy hitter requires time to mellow. I heard so much fighting before I ever spoke. Door slams were the sounds that awoke me. I got told things were clean that were filthy. Ignorance is a strong cage, but I got free. I found a new way. I bailed on the game, stopped following all of the rules and commandments, quit limiting myself to the rural experiences of my parents, pointed my marrow out into the distance. I burrowed in books, reached into the past, because people have always been people, and evolution just doesn't move that fast. I buckled down, and I did my best to fill in all the gaps my villainous raising left. Just look at me now, so flying my crown, so free from the bad actors who were bringing me down. I'm ringing the bells, announcing myself. Go gather the town, tell them I'm letting everything out. God damn, do I make my younger self proud. Thank you to everyone who just joined. Right now, I'm reading from a manuscript I'm working on that is titled Cherry Almond. Continuing on, this is Your Body and Mine. I came up in a winter wolf pack. Back in the 80s, I was so angry to be born. There is no room for me here, I howled. There isn't enough space for me to expand into my full form. You dropped me into a wasteland. Winter in New England is no time or place for inexperienced hands. Could not understand the gift. Did not grasp how heavy even the best life hangs. Fought to accept the rift and let it grow. Wolves are supposed to be social, but I felt safer alone. Ran away to find my own territory. Finally gave up control. Anyone else here ever lived the same story? I bet somebody in this room knows. Witness the winter wolf pack. I was stuck with a broken alpha. No guidance, just bites. No predicting what's wrong or right, just surviving each day, then somehow finding a way to sleep at night, to rest and ready for the next attack, the next drive-by, the next fight. I fled from the fray. I crept away. I made no sound in the night. I said no goodbye. Closure is for other, sweeter wolves, while I was just doing what I had to do not to die. I ran from my inheritance, a black hole sucking everything inside. Deep winter makes a wolf pack strange. You would not believe how much magic it takes, and by magic I mean hard work for longer than you would believe, to trust that not all other wolves mean danger, and to welcome others like me into my den to sleep. I did not think this body would be something I would keep. I wasn't sure I would ever get all of the guts out of my sharpened teeth. But look at me now. I wish this feeling for each of you. More alive and so much more loud than any of the nasty shit I've been through. I ran hard from circumstance and I got my wolf ass out. No more fumbling in the cold and groping in the dark. My new and better life is true. The rain came down hard as I wrote these lines. May there be peace in your body and mine. Middle pain. The German word is Mittelschmerz. It translates to middle pain. It's my slippery guts sliced right on through by a master's blade. No white flag from my hands is enough. Middle pain shouts that potential is bursting through the door. Even though I do my best to ignore it, even when I do the most amazing self-care for it, it is still a bomb inside. It is still a knife. It translates to middle pain. As Trump curled his fingers around the wheel, my body's cavern echoed squeals of a protesting egg. It will not ever become a member of the fray, but it chose last night to throw a fist and make the journey, to remind me of my burden, to bring me back down to sea level just when I began to rise, just when I started to forget how the ache of each month feels. It translates to middle pain. PMDD is a villain. It lacks the human decencies of tact and timing, and so does our new president. As much as I openly resent the State of the Union, I feel no confusion over which things I can control. I cannot change the results of elections, but I can open my mouth and set it on a roll. Why not subscribe and help this poet pay her rent and help her win? It translates to middle pain. How can I explain that this is not the proper label? Should be reworked by the writers who named Axe body spray and Doritos. Something more neon 90s extreme, please. If I have to have it, can it at least sound radical? It translates to middle pain, and even though I find the light, that glow comes from a bomb inside. Do not make me admire your fine sword. It's just a knife. Headache sky. Conscience is exhausting, and New England winter messy. The buses in my city are never on time. Today was too snowy to commute by scooter or bike, and my Uber home from work was a Tessie. I was spent, I had a migraine, I was in too much debt and pain to eat the cancel fee and wait for another ride, so I got inside, and I frowned up at the headache clouds through the tinted skylight. This is being disabled in America. It's not having a choice not to work with the enemy, and just hoping I leave my collaboration unchanged for the worse. It's knowing I failed in my morals, then coming home and putting it all in a verse. When I meditate too long on what's both hard and true, my legs merge into a scorpion tail that stings, and my back arches strong. I wouldn't wish scoliosis on you, but it's all I know, and for now my spine is holding, and so is my place in the order of things. Neither mens sana nor corpore sano, but I do the best job I can do. Failure to grow correctly, was it on me? It's certainly not on you. I grew up in the country, near a gun shop, and a fox-haired boy I knew from school accidentally, tragically shot a man, a farmer, in a tractor. The fox-haired boy thought it was abandoned. How many times do we use someone for target practice without thinking? I don't believe that boy meant to be a bad actor. Isn't it funny how most life-changing moments are unplanned? Solid ground, so suddenly we find ourselves sinking. A broken arm feels no guilt for the cast. So why do I keep apologizing for working out the shit in my past? Healing takes the time it takes, then it returns with more. Lord, let my back remain strong. Keep me up off the floor. Do not allow gravity to collapse me. Let me always remain in sight of a door. Let me fail and always try some more. There's a trick to it. My trusty ride died a few days ago. It ran full speed right until it burned out. It passed in the middle of the commute, far from the end of its natural life. The folks at the shop tactfully told me that rehabbing my pink sticker-clad steed would cost more than a good used replacement, then left it to me to choose my own way. I loved them for the lack of pressure and the time to think the shop guys allowed me. In those moments, I thought of my father and his parade of decayed pickup trucks, bodies already well worn at the point they reached his hands and experienced him, a man who thought he could stop how time rusts. I saw myself tripping down that same path, always making do, having to recall how there's a trick to it, which is really poverty language for we can't afford to repair this, which is unbearable, so we'll pretend it's a skill set others should envy to make our way of life work. I politely declined the repair and looked instead for a new scooter to ride, something that would carry me down the road instead of asking me to bear its weight. Pacific midnight. Watch the blue creep through the black. Pacific midnight is when my shapely vessel wakes. It knows that 3 a.m. is when the world is quiet, when predators sleep between attacks. Borderland hour, not day and not night, unburdened by the fears of either. Just a time to be the person I would have been with a different, kinder life. Watch the blue wind through the black. Look how they entwine. At Pacific midnight, I become the woman I could have been. I give myself tea and treats and touches that please. I dump love on myself like I'm one of those kids who didn't know that you can't say that on television. At Pacific midnight, I become all I wasn't given. Watch the blue sneak through the black. The water inside me no longer rowdy overflowing, still as the smoothest lake. The wind settles down, the trees cease their shaking, and I find relief. I find solid ground beneath my back. Watch the blue reach through the black. Pacific midnight is the time for making wishes, for tucking them gently into damp soil, time to tenderly probe feelings that have no name, time to remember only good things, all of my many knacks, to recall the universe's shape and how mine is the same. Watch the blue carve through the black. I've never seen the West Coast, but California, I live on your timeline. I grew up with your soundtrack, I made it mine. Shadows on cave walls told me there could be another place, told me there would always be a trail forward, and reminded me I'm skilled in wayfinding. Watch the blue sail through the black. The clock says Pacific midnight. See the deepest hue your eye could imagine. Watch the night give birth to the day. Cut the cord, allow it to separate. Do less, be gentle. I'm supposed to be asleep right now, but I can't help but feel that something missing must be found. The wind sends me a late-night text. It lights up my dark room and says, "When you are weary, sleep, And fuck the haters who ply you with caffeine. You know when you've had enough. If you were meant to be wide-eyed, you would not feel empty. You would be filled with daylight. If sleep invites you to her home, attend. She puts on a lovely spread. The train clicks gently on its track. Do less, be gentle, do less, be gentle. And as it rattles over the bridge, do less, do less, do less, do less, do less. I'm supposed to be asleep right now. The mother train rocks me in the best way she knows how. I changed my identity. There is a new core, a gorgeous blend of all those who carried me, all those faces and voices I kept on retainer for times when I found myself in danger. I don't need extremes like those anymore. I built levees that hold back unreasonable tides, and now I walk on peaceful beaches. I wash my life in respect for myself, and when I love me so well, I cannot help but love the folks nearby. I want to bite them like peaches. I'm supposed to be asleep right now. My job is to stay slow, to be the stone in the river, slowly changed over time, something to hold on to in a moment of panic, so steady in the tide. When we cry out in fear, we crave someone to soothe us, not someone to scream back in the night. I'm supposed to be asleep right now, but how does a body doze when it feels buried underground? My flesh hugs my bones, climbs like vines, embraces muscles like lovers, folds and flexes and flourishes. If I be forced to birth myself, then let me do it on all fours. Pass me a mirror, point it in my pussy so I can see it. If I have to crack my own pelvis to escape into freedom, then so be it. The rulebook says a woman's hair is her crowning glory. So what does it make me if my crown is forged like a man's? It's sharp with jewels I tore out of cave walls with my own hands. I melted down silver cloud linings, sized it just for me, made it perfectly balanced and so damn flattering. Had enough metal left, made myself some brass knuckles and a ring. I'm supposed to be asleep right now, but I can't rest now that I have my crown. Roots, leaves, flowers. Sometimes, on bright winter afternoons, when the sun through the buildings has that certain glint, I pause my task and gather the courage to ask, what is my body doing right now exactly as this minute ticks? Am I growing out my roots, seeking the shelter of those who came before, the creatures and plants who decomposed and became the forest floor? Am I still enough to feel the plates of the earth shift? Can my toes find sand? Can they dig deep enough to become warm? Am I growing out my leaves, taking up at least enough space to meet my needs, being the shade to the smaller plants that would burn in the sun, turning the light into something that steeps, unfurling fearlessly, climbing with all the strength I've won, creating oxygen for my fellow creatures to breathe? Am I growing out my flowers, creating something so gorgeous that the world cannot help but pluck it, bringing forth something to press between pages to mark the days, flinging something forward into the future that will carry my name into the land of I'm enough, crafting something worthy to place with a kiss on my father's grave, one that I visit in my mind in times when I feel stuck in shit, when I want to throw up my hands and say, fuck it? Or am I spending time as fallow ground? A plant that lives in rich soil and good light yields the biggest fruit. When was the last time I treated my body like hallowed ground? Feed me, and I will feed you back if given the chance. Starve me, and I become the worst version of myself. With proper attendance, soil and body each return to health. Hello to everyone just joining. I'm reading from a manuscript I'm working on right now titled Cherry Almond. The Blooms Riot. Ever slumped into the drab seat of an early morning megabus, young body hungover and busted up, on a ride impossibly north, up 89 to a frigid home, to well-intentioned parents who never could quite see you through the thickening fog of generations, who could not understand you on the phone, who blinked in confusion at your feelings as your exhausted frame curled into your weeping? Ever fled from the rage of a person who claimed to be your savior, and as it became clear that the yelling would not cease, as it insisted it would take both its and your time, felt yourself shrink against the back of your skull, liquefied, drip down your spine, your face replaced by someone else, someone who could be brave? Ever laid on your couch, shook a bottle of capsules into your hand, an action not at all planned, just an honest response to unbearable pain that never seems to end, hoping to sleep peacefully and never wake to feel the ache again? Ever dreamed of the scent of sawdust and yearned for one more moment to speak with the man who raised you, to ask him if the road ever becomes any wider or flatter, or heaven willing, could it ever be both? Ever shied from the morning sun with a crick in your neck, messy hair shoved to the side, face all creased from the couch cushion, and a heart crushing regret, horror at the thought of forcing someone you love to discover the shell that you had left? Ever known with each fiber of your muscles that birthing and nursing a baby was not your mission, yet still make fervent daughter wishes, such as, may they choose partners who have already worked out their shit, and may they feel free for as long as they live? Ever had your home become your third space in an evolutionary path you never could have seen in advance, but for which you're grateful, even though the transition was filled with pain? In the end, where there could have been a graveyard, I planted a garden. The blooms riot after rain. Let us rise. We all just want to see the sky. I was taught to observe by wiser kin. I lived for too long as flatland and learned too well the shape of hungry wind. Today, I'm trending Rubenesque, all glacier rounded, mountains where the air is crisp and fresh. An ancient black cat sits on my soft lap. To hold our elders safe is privilege. We all deserve a shot to see the sky. I close my eyes and dream of molting birds. The news tells me that Trump is building camps, but not to worry, little girl. Only the very worst will be so damned. Good sir, do you mean the ones who got trapped between death's robe and taking a chance? We all just want to stroll and sniff the wind. I remember the pictures from back in the day when we got scared after 9/11 and folks disappeared to Guantanamo Bay. I saw bloodied and bruised faces. I saw gaunt and rubbed raw wrists. Surely this time we can do better than that shit. We all just want a shot to rise, unmolested by bizarre jealousies. No one protesting because we exist, nothing in the air but the perfume of bodies, witnessed by nothing but soft and loving eyes. We all just want to breathe. My generation was supposed to be the future, but the past wouldn't step aside, wouldn't die, and it's wonderful that they're all still here, but they won't make room for us. Why not build our families' homes instead of camps? Why not give us a fighting chance? We wanted to do more. We wanted to succeed. We took a look at the state of the world and we all got IUDs. We're trying to get up off of our knees. We all deserve a shot to see the sky. Please just let us rise. Lacuna. I'm done demanding answers from the world. My mother tongue can't help me clarify, nor can others, and so I keep mine furled. I learned the word lacuna late one night. My gender is unspeakable, it seems. I've yet to find the proper English word to tell the folks around me what it means to exist as this person in the world. I guess woman will have to serve for now, in place of some more appropriate name. Perhaps countries I know nothing about could lend the definition that I crave. I'm done demanding answers from the world. It hurts too much, but so does staying furled. Here with you. I am sitting here with you because how else would our northern hands meet? How else could I behold the truth? Who else could ever make me feel this alive? How else could our maple sweet lips join so greedily? Riverbanks barely hold the waters into which you dive. There is no nation my body would choose in which to sink down its strong roots. I am sitting here with you, so thoroughly consumed, so captured as the minutes twist. The only screen time that I crave is your kind eyes. It's the light between them that makes me gorgeous. This scene with you, I could gorge on it, that's my wish. I could mainline your deep kiss, but I want 100 years, so moderation it is. I am sitting here with you, while the quiet kitchen hums expectant, in the moments when I don't feel like I deserve to feed my body. On those tense nights, I remember your hands at the stove, intent, how they move like ripples on lakes, and the joy it brings you when your from scratch flavor attack makes me smile. I ignore the poison inside my mind and I eat. I am sitting here with you, toes splashing the oasis between two loud songs. There is shade in this place, and all these trees aching with fruit cannot be wrong. Just for a moment, we ravage nectarines that drip. Then it's back on the floor, my hands on your shoulders, yours on my hips. I love the way the beat drops hard and you tighten your grip. I am sitting here with you only because our feet are exhausted from adventure, only because we turned every stone in the world. Elders all screamed that the land had burned, but we had to see for ourselves. We had to be sure. Just for a while, we share a pot of tea fresh brewed before we burst back out the door to run wild and eat the sunset view. Thank you so much to everyone who joined today. I have one more poem for you. Um, I really appreciate your time. And oh, Seamus, oh my gosh, always with the nice comments, Seamus. Thank you. Anyway, one more poem today. I am not actually going to be at the Cantab tonight because I'm not feeling well enough to be there, so I'm not going to do it. But hopefully, I'll be there next Wednesday night, and we'll get back into that routine. All that being said, I have one more poem for you, and that poem is titled Attachment Theory. I will never leave you, not even if we run too far off the trail and find ourselves in the middle of a jungle filled with fierce animals we haven't seen before. It's all right. I was born with my father's ear and my mother's tongue. I sing the universal roar. I speak many feathered languages and rare dialects covered with fur. I will never leave you, not even if all the water in the well dries up and we find ourselves leather in the sun. It's all right. I was born with my father's strong hands and my mother's sadness. I will wring my tears into your mouth. I will cup my hand below your lips and make sure that you receive my gift. In my world, my body can be a cure. I will never leave you, not even if our home burns into the finest ash and blows away on merciless wind. It's all right. I was born with my father's willing arms and my mother's hard heart, and I can refuse to die enough for the both of us. I can decline to give up on dignity. I can defy those who would deny our humanity. I can turn down the offer to be classified as sin. I will never leave you, not even if your mind escapes your body and you look up at me with unrecognizing eyes. It's all right. I was born with my father's smile and my mother's charm. I'm good at introductions. I'll say hello, I'm Lizzy to you 1,000 times, 1,000 times. I will never leave you, not even when we are just bones beneath flowers drinking afternoon sun, the scent of cherry almond left behind. It's all right. It's absolutely fine. You know why? We lived our lives and we had fun. We had such a wonderful time. So that is the current draft of my manuscript titled Cherry Almond. Thank you so much to everyone who listened today. I hope to see you the next time I go live. Have a great day.